Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast Dragon Ball edition. Today we are doing our 1 year tribute to Akira Toriyama, who obviously passed away in March of last year, and we are talking about the 1 year anniversary in April of 2025 because he was born in April. So we have the Dragon Ball expert with us, Mr. Mitch Oso. How are you doing today, man?
Doing good as always. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Time of recording, a lot of stuff's going on right now. NFL draft for the people who listen to the NFL stuff, NBA playoffs for the people who listen to the NBA stuff going on at the same time. So just keeping up with those type of things.
Yep, a whole bunch of shit if you're a gambling degenerate like myself. So I mean, just it's a pretty good time, man.
Oh,
But I had to
yeah.
make sure that we pay a little bit of homage to one of the goats.
Yeah. Yeah. Mitch, man, do you remember where you were at last year when you heard the news?
Oh yeah, I was sitting in my kitchen eating a bowl of cereal. I was eating, I believe it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch, unless it was Reese Puffs. But I remember as close to as I ever have been with just spitting my food out whenever I saw it because I believe I saw it on Facebook and it was it CBR CRB.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. They were the ones that posted it, and I thought it was some sick joke or like one of those moments in which news agencies typically do this. They have like videos already prepared for a variety of famous people and celebrities. Like if they died like at an instant, they already have those things created to broadcast immediately. I thought this was kind of one of those things, but it got accidentally leaked because that has happened before, like with CNN, I believe, or MSN or Fox, whoever might be. Someone's guilty. But but no, and then just start researching around. I remember calling you, and I'll be honest, I remember getting emotional, teary-eyed, and then just straight up just crying. I'm not going to pussyfoot around with my verbiage on there. Yeah, yeah. I was in the kitchen eating cereal at like 10 o'clock at night. It was like late,
It
like 10
was.
or 11 o'clock.
No, it was late. I remember I was in my living room. I remember playing Final Fantasy VII, the remake. I was playing that and then seeing some of the stuff like you said with CBR. I mean, I didn't believe them. And then the NBA expert Evan Debo posting it, like that was the one that really got me out of all people.
Yeah.
Him being the first one to like post it in any of the text groups. And then I'm just like, Evan's posting this? No way this is real. Like Evan? Like this really
Mm.
isn't his like wheelhouse, and then you start searching around, and then you're just like, oh my goodness, is this like really, this is real?
Yep.
So then it's just like, you're just in shock because at that point, it was just like he passed away. We knew really like nothing of, okay, I mean, was there foul play? Was he murdered? Like we knew
There was
absolutely
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah, there was nothing that, if I recall, or at least just trying to be as observant to what was going on in society. I don't remember. There was nothing of his health being ill
Mm-mm.
at that time, so it was just a complete shock. And like what you said, whenever whenever the news came to be, we speculated what it was. No one had seen it. It's not like whenever what's his name? Kazuki Takahashi. It's like
Mhm.
when he died, in that drowning incident, like, we knew that immediately. It wasn't like that for Toriyama. It took some time to figure out, you know, what
Yeah,
happened with his death.
And then it was just still like shocking. I remember we did the live like tribute almost like immediately that Sunday, had like ourselves on it, had the Smith boys on it, us, Cedric and Byron, and we were all just talking because again it was like it was just shocking because again it happened late at night for us in the States. So then you wake up in the morning because some people 10 o'clock, there's a lot of people unbeknownst to us that are asleep during
Hmm.
that time. So then they're waking up seeing like their phones blowing up with this news, or some of the people who do the content creation for a living, they're trying to sleep and their phone is just going bonkers. And it's like, what's going on? What's going on? And you see Toriyama pass, so they instantly got to wake up and report it right away. And I mean, I was shocked. I was really like in a weird emotional thing, like going into work the next day because I'm just like, I was still in like, is this real? Like, is there like an official obituary?
I'm glad I learned that night because like m- that level of shock that I experienced well into past like midnight,
Hmm.
like it, I'll be honest with you, it would have it would have affected me at work if I woke up and that was what I saw. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be calling off work, but I'd tell you I'd be considering it, or I would not be functional at least, up until lunch maybe. Just trying to absorb all this information I'm getting and then seeking all the other information to answer my questions about like, his death. I would not be I would not have been able to effectively go into work, at least for the morning. So I'm glad that I learned about it before I went to bed. So
Yeah, that's a good point. Like waking up and then seeing that would have been absolutely crazy. Like even going to sleep still was like bad because you're going to sleep in your head with so many like questions. Like
yeah.
this is just so random. Like he just had a chapter. Like we just had the chapter with like what is going on, and then like going to work that day is just like wow, I can't believe this is happening. Other people are talking about it, and more people are talking about it. So it's like all right, this really is real. Then other reputable sites are like all right, we're announcing that he's passed away, and then like with ABC and Time and T, like once the TMZ went, I was just like, oh my God, this is like real, real.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when TMZ grabs their hands on anything, that's pretty big, especially in the world of anime, because like TMZ, that's not their um that's not the content in which they're trying to cover for their typical
Right.
um member, audience, fan of TMZ. We're talking gospel and celebrity news and then just some other stuff, but it transcended even to TMZ and then various other things in the world, media, governments, athletes. The list goes on.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that it taught me about Toriyama and Dragon Ball. Like, because obviously we know how big it is, like, but how transcendent it is. Because, like you said, like TMZ reporting that is just like, oh, just quickly before I go, because this has happened for the Buckeye fans out there. First Buckeye picked in the draft, Emeka Ibuka.
Well, about damn time, you know. Got almost all the starting 22 people on fucking Michigan getting drafted here. About time the best players available finally make their debut.
Hey, he's going
Ba- Baker Mayfield, baby.
yeah, Baker, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin.
Yeah, that'll be
That's
that.
not a bad spot.
You want to know what the funny thing is um this this is a better situation than the one I'm going to mention here. This reminds me of Seattle
Mm,
whenever they got Njigba. Now,
hmm.
granted, I think both Godwin and Evans are better than Lockett, And I would still probably put both of them above maybe DK.
Mhm.
But, you get a rookie Ohio State wide receiver, and then before you know it, in 2 years, you know, everyone else is gone because, well, he's just too good. Ohio State wide receivers, we're just too good. We just push out everyone else who just isn't as good. But anyways, sorry,
No,
digress.
it's fine. It's just because it was a Buckeye. So that if it wasn't a Buckeye, I wouldn't have said anything because obviously that's where we're from. But no, this the passing really showed me how transcendent like he
Yeah,
was and how Dragon Ball is. Because again, like I expected like stuff from like certain people, like communities, like people who like Dragon Ball. I know again, Sean Semmel said it best when Battle of Gods was coming out. Dragon Ball is not just a thing or a show, it's a whole culture. So I expected like things like that and like people I follow on YouTube and Twitter and all that. But like seeing whole different companies I did not expect, like you already said, seeing national leaders say something I didn't expect, seeing like famous people who I didn't know liked Dragon Ball or anything like that, I didn't expect. Seeing Omega famous content creators who don't do Dragon Ball say something I didn't expect. Like that was really showing me like, holy goodness, like uh, you don't know how big your favorite thing is until you see like outsiders talking about it who you
yeah.
think are outsiders. But
Mhm.
that just showed me how big Dragon Ball truly is and the effect that that man had on the community and the fact that his peers like all had to stop and like say stuff like the creators from Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, like the big three, them saying stuff, and then all the other anime people saying stuff like I know like in some rap songs where a rapper's like, I'm your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yeah.
Toriyama is a lot of people's favorite manga creators' favorite manga creator.
You know,
So,
in terms of the timing of his death, like, last year, if you think about it, I think one thing that in terms of like paying like homage to all of his great deeds, um, I think if his death had occurred 10 years prior,
mhm,
or maybe in like 10 years from now, I wonder what it would be like in those situations because we're now at the age where I would say that our demographic, the millennial demographic that is sort of in their upper like 30s per se,
mhm,
lower 40s,
mhm,
those people in these companies might be running, their social media campaigns.
mhm,
And since, Toriyama has had the effect of us while we were kids, and then as we grow up and we get into these positions of social media influence or power, what, within these companies, um, I think that also had helped in getting the word out that it was like whether the company like actually like knew anything about like Toriyama,
mhm,
it didn't matter because somewhere down on that social media team was a 30 to a 45-year-old who was like, I know y'all don't know how big this is because you guys are like, Gen X or whatever. You guys are executives and you don't like you don't understand any of this. But I'm telling you right now, you need to say something, you
mhm,
know? Because if it was 10 years ago and we were all 20 or like 30, who knows if who knows who's running these social media outlets if they even care or even know. You know what I mean?
right.
And or 10 years from now into the future, like at that point then we understand that people are, kind of getting to the end of their life per se because Toriyama he was almost 70.
Mhm,
Like he was 69 whenever he died. He was almost 70. So, in 10 years from now, you're pushing 80. People can kind of see that, like, stuff's on the wall. So then it's like, okay, just prepare. But it's just the fact that he still had time on his life, and who knows what would have been. Yeah, him passing now was. apart, just like the timing for everybody to pay their respects in ways that you and I were not expecting. It's just like you said, it transcended just so much.
Yeah, because it became a thing of not. It got to a point where all right, we're seeing all these people pay respect. Like in the next, like after the first 2 days, and uh, I post the link is on the tribute, the original one that we well not the original when he died. There's a Reddit thing where it had a list of all the people, organizations, leaders, all that who paid tribute. It became a thing of who hasn't paid tribute. That became the bigger news.
Oh yeah, and then you were just you were just staring at like, some of these companies.
Nintendo.
Nintendo. It's funny, the companies that you would think would would have posted something or some sort of respects didn't. And then you get these random ones and you're like, why? So let's use Nintendo for example. The fact that you have Japan-based fucking Nintendo who had even a connection with Toriyama whenever they created Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo. You had a partnership with the guy back in the 90s and you created one of the best NES titles of all time with Chrono Trigger. People loved it and Toriyama was a big factor in that. So, like, Nintendo not saying anything completely blew my mind. Now, if they did weeks later, because I was staring at their Twitter for anything and I didn't see squat. It's just I'm like, how do you guys not? Because Sony did, if I recall correctly.
Yes, they did.
Sony, another Japan-based company, so it's I don't know who's running the ship over there in Nintendo, but they got a lot of problems. But no, whatever. That's another topic. But then the audacity of McDonald's,
Hmm.
for example. You have other fast food joints and other restaurants paying homage, but you have fucking McDonald's for the past like 2 years running an anime styled marketing
Yep.
ploy where they're literally having their own mangas essentially on the paper bags that deliver your food.
Mhm.
It's cool. It's pretty. It's somebody there understands the demographic that they're trying to get to, and that is us. However, they don't know that they had a pretty good fucking opportunity to pay respects to the guy who popularized their marketing strategy.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck are you doing, McDonald's?
Yep.
I hope y'all are listening. What the fuck were you doing? Stupid.
Yeah, and they just posted sand silhouettes like about a month ago from about to promote maybe a collaboration with Dragon Ball in some way, but it's like, all right, but you didn't say anything when the man passed away.
Freaking just unbelievable. Just brain dead, just tone deaf, just fucking morons. Just, it's
Because
wild.
then we find out later on that there was like he had health concerns that obviously he was very private about his personal life, so we had no idea that he had any of those health concerns. And like you said, like he was bubbling for joy with energy wise because Daima was about to come out,
Yep.
the manga, like we're wondering what's gonna happen, and then he passed away, and it went on hiatus. They had the little one shot like about a month or so ago, but they basically been gone. So it's just like people say they knew about his health stuff, but then again, the fact that there hasn't been a manga really since then obviously took a lot of people by surprise, and there really wasn't maybe a super concrete plan of when he passes away, X, Y, and Z needs to happen.
Yep. Yep. And now you just we sit here and wonder who really is going to own all of this shit. And
Mhm.
you know, is Shueisha going to run this or or someone else, just pure chaos. But
He left a big thing, man, and just it's the fact that it's already been a year. Like it's already been a year and some change now since it happened in March, and obviously the world keeps going, but it's just like anytime you see a Dragon Ball related thing and knowing that the guy had so much more to give and he's gone, it's just like, man, this hurts anytime you think about it.
yeah,
Because I mean, we did that bracket last month about like all the sagas and outside of like the GT stuff, like all those sagas came from his brain.
yeah. I'm like looking here. I'm like trying to see who all owns, Dragon Ball right now. They're going through all the courts for this shit.
Yes.
It's funny, man. Shueisha, Bird Studio, Toei Animation, Bandai, fucking Walt Disney. Forgot about that. And then obviously Toritaro. So just what a what a it's like, what a what is it called? I don't want to say a power void. Like when someone of power moves on or like dies or whatnot,
Hmm.
there's this void for someone or something to like take control and power. It's like his passing just makes it such an ugly mess of shit.
It really does, man. Because and this is just a more general thing for people in general. Like we don't think no one thinks about the succession plan until it happens unexpectedly, you know?
Yeah.
Like no one thinks about writing a will and all of that stuff until it's way too late.
Yep.
And that's just the way as humans think because it's just like, oh, we feel like if we start really thinking about it, like it's just like, man, it's gonna get sad because it's stuff people read when you're gone, and then you're thinking about being gone, and you're like, "Ah, I don't want to do this, and then sometimes it does more harm than good.
Yep. Yep.
So
Gotta get all your affairs in order at all times because you never know what happens tomorrow.
no, it's just, and then obviously we had Daima happening, like so that like the opening and closing too. Now listening to like the opening and closing, knowing that he's gone, kind of felt weird. It's just like, man, it feels like we're like these were the perfect opening and closings for him being gone and all of that. And it's just one of those things too where it's like on a lighter heart note, with him being gone, we can't ask him any of the questions like, bro, what the hell were you thinking during some of this diamond stuff?
Mm. No, we'll still ask him. Just obviously, we won't get any answers unless Toritaro comes out and just, I don't want to say exposes, throws him under the bus, or is just more open about it per se. But or would we would just get the classic example, or the response when things didn't make sense. Just when Toriyama would just be like, "I forgot." God damn.
Yeah, that's what he would say. He would which is always the funny thing because hey, I don't know what it's like to create a literally a global sensation and have all those ideas just spiraling out of your brain and you putting pen to paper and writing and drawing that stuff, but
I mean, I guess it could be difficult to, remember your universe that you create, but like I feel as though, um, you know, we all remember it, but who knows? He probably created so many different things that never made it to the pages or the screen, and he's like, was that character actually in the show that I made? Android like 14 and a half, like. Oh no, that dude's just on the cutting room floor right now. I never did anything with him. So maybe
Literally.
maybe that was his maybe that didn't help per se.
No, probably didn't, but he was funny man, and we obviously thank him for all he's done for his one creation of this particular series spawned so many different domino effects across the world of not just anime and media, and Yeah, now when you think about like, man, what would the media anime world be if Dragon Ball didn't exist? Because then what other animes wouldn't exist because they wouldn't be inspired by Toriyama? And then if those people aren't inspired by Toriyama, then what other animes wouldn't exist if those people didn't make anime? Like, think of that domino effect and what he provided as the godfather of anime, man. It's modern
Yep.
anime. It's unprecedented.
Yep, that it is. That it is. Who knows where we would be right now? Like,
Really, that's really all I got, man. We just really wanted to pay respects towards him on the 1 year because again, it's literally been a year and it's his birthday month, and just wanted to chat about him and like all the people. Obviously, we haven't forgotten how we felt when the initial passing happened. We were just gut wrenched, but the fact now when you go through the healing stages and you get to think about all the great like memories he's been able to provide you through his series, it just all you can just say is thank you.
yeah.
And then with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the Akira Toriyama tribute and listening to the L7C podcast. We'll be back next month. Just get back on some happy stuff or some random Dragon Ball spitfiring until, a manga comes back or until Daima 2 or whatever gets announced. Until something gets announced. We'll be here every month talking Dragon Ball. With that being said, L7C podcast signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.